Hello and welcome to this new CoinIQ video. Today I am going to give an overview of the QoinSuit platform's functionalities, mainly focusing on how you can access them. As described in the previous video, after entering all credentials and having logged into the platform via the QoinSuit login, the user will be directed to a predefined layout. Today, though, we will start with a pretty much empty display. We'll describe what the icons on the toolbar are all about and how to pull up the main functions of QoinSuit so that you familiarize yourself with it and customize it according to your needs and preferences. When clicking on the first button in the middle section of the toolbar, you'll open the watch list. That contains all cryptos available to trade in an exchange. As this is a demo version, we've connected only one exchange, namely Bitfinex, so only cryptos or futures, we'll get to that in a second, traded at Bitfinex can be selected. Of course, later in the live version, you will be able to select any exchange that your accounts are connected with. After clicking on the button and launching the watch list, you can customize it to your liking and decide which cryptos to include and keep track of. You can search for cryptos you want to follow in a couple of ways. Just click on Markets first. When the drop-down menu appears, either type the symbol or description of the instrument on the very top in the field labeled Type for Search. For example, USD to see the US dollar rates of available cryptos, ETH or Ether, Sterling, Tether, etc. Or you can also use the alternative method. Simply select from the drop-down list directly the crypto you want to insert in the watch list by ticking the box right next to it. By doing so, the watch list you have created will contain simultaneously the rates, for example, of Bitcoin in euro, in dollars against Ether, or the Ether rates in dollars or in Swiss franc or Japanese yen or any other equivalent that can be negotiated in your exchange of choice. Once your watch list is created, you will be able to list the cryptos alphabetically by ascending or descending order of performance or by volume, etc. You will have a plethora of information at your fingertips and always be able to visually follow the market landscape and trend for all the cryptos you've selected. On the watch list, beyond the display of all that information about any given pair of cryptocurrencies, you will find two additional buttons located at the end of each line. They are namely HBook and Chart. Clicking on these last two buttons will open QoinSuit's horizontal book and the plotting window with its analysis tools. Now you can adjust the size of these windows, which will help you always keep them within your field of view or improve the chart detail, position them right next to each other, etc. But we will discuss these two separately and of course in greater length in our next features video. Now let's continue with a description of the other buttons on the toolbar. There's one that opens yet another watch list. Now let's just close the horizontal book and plotting window. We won't need them for right now. That second watch list is dedicated to futures trading and differs slightly from the one before in our example because, as I mentioned earlier, currently we have connected only one exchange to this QoinSuit demo version, and that's Bitfinex. Since the number of instruments traded there is not that large, we opted to list all of them without showing the drop-down item labeled Markets, which you would normally use to select crypto pairs in the live version. And we've already described how that works just about a minute ago. Let me just open a quick parenthesis here, just to say that each of QoinSuit's function windows can be shrunk or enlarged as needed, so the overall display can be resized if the customer wishes. You can adjust them vertically, laterally, or diagonally. We kept a minimum font size and column width though to make sure that everything's still readable. Now, going back to the futures watch list. It contains the same information as the crypto watch list, and you can also sort column items, names in alphabetical order, price change or volume in ascending or descending order, etc. There is one additional button there that we've added compared to the other watch list, the V-book, which stands for vertical book. That is a book developed for futures trading and for scalping strategies. As this is a more complex tool, I will dedicate a future video to it and explain everything exciting you can do with that fantastic instrument in more detail. Before we go there though, I'd like to show you an example of how the QoinSuit platform makes good use of pricing and trade orders data on futures and spot positions. Here we've opened a panel with information on the Bitcoin futures, and we opened another panel with trade data for the Bitcoin in the spot market. You can compare all pricing data between the two. You might find it more convenient to open the more traditional book, not the vertical book, for the Bitcoin futures, which presents the pricing information in the same layout as with the spot panel. Comparing price and volume data between the two with one window right next to each other is ideal if, for example, you want to perform arbitrage. The third item I want to talk about is the portfolio view, which is a particularly important element, a core element for a multi-exchange platform like QoinSuit. When you open that window, you will see a set of numbers that depict balances and available balances. At this stage, before the go live of QoinSuit and before our token event in May, the option to connect accounts with Bitfinex, for example, has been deactivated in this instance. That's why we have inserted dummy quantities after each portfolio position, which will still allow customers to have an insight into this feature. Just think that for each position in the portfolio, there is an initial purchase price and an average purchase price. I think of what a hassle it is for many people nowadays trying to keep prices in mind, especially, for example, if there are consecutive purchases of the same crypto. Now, beyond that, the profit and loss of the position is visible and updated in real time, in addition to the ADV order, advanced order function, with which you can enter conditional orders or create different trading strategies. But as I've said, this video was created to describe the platform's functions in a broader sense. We will dive deeper into these features with more videos to come in the upcoming weeks, and I'm sure that you will appreciate how much innovation and creativity lies in the core of QoinSuit. The fourth symbol, when clicked, opens a window that shows the status of all orders. Now, let's close a couple of windows we don't need right now. This feature also deserves a separate video to describe the countless information it contains, and that is the result of a very careful analysis and handling of the orders that, as we've mentioned before, reside on our servers, and decentralized, that is. This very last aspect, by the way, has been the object of particular attention on our part at CoinIQ. Nowadays, all platforms or software interfaces act as a link between the software itself and the exchanges. This means that the management of orders is reliant upon standards offered by the exchange. QoinSuit wanted to take a completely different path and offer a system which will allow customers to handle orders with a plethora of possibilities which are not provided by the exchange. These orders are processed within our decentralized hardware structure. The fifth and sixth buttons are linked to each other and allow the customer to personalize the workstation, creating layouts according to individual needs or preferences, and apply them with ease and speed. Here's a practical example to illustrate this. Apart from the order status window and spot and futures watch lists that we've opened, we also opened two horizontal books using the buttons in the watch list, since we want to monitor the Bitcoin market versus the British pound and the euro. Now, clicking on the sixth button in the middle part of our toolbar, we are prompted to enter a name for our current session layout and can then click on the Save button. If we want to open later a saved session, we use the fifth button labeled Open Session and select from the drop-down menu. We could, for example, load the default layout or the last layout visited, or any of the other layouts we've created. You may want to create layouts, for example, grouping items relevant to a sole cryptocurrency, or maybe such that depict instruments only in Japanese yen or euros. Others with specific plotting analysis tools, or save layouts with order books only, etc. The last button allows you to change the graphic background of the platform using different color schemes. Use the standard one, or let your inspiration guide you to a lighter color set, or use different colors for the different sessions you wanted to save. For the time being, there are only a few options to choose from, but that will change in future. That's all for this video. We hope you enjoyed that broad glance at our trading platform. Look for our upcoming videos with more exciting features on QoinSuit, and make sure to follow us on our other social channels. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you soon.